What up, beautiful people? It's your boy Nate Jackson. It's another episode of Opinionated, the country's best new podcast, and I mean that. A couple of things real quick I want to do off top is I want to thank people for your prayers for my father and your prayers for Alyssa. I think all of it matters, and I'll tell you why. But I want to get into this thing first. I got to tell you my dates real fast, super fast, for my adult listeners who have patience for this type of thing. Let me tell you a couple dates. We're in Plano, Texas this weekend, March 20th through the 22nd. Then Syracuse, New York is March 27th. Then Buffalo, New York is March 28th. And I need you to go to natejacksoncomedy.com and see the full calendar for the Super Funny World Tour. We are coming to a city near you, unless you are in New Jersey and Philadelphia. We'll be adding those soon, maybe. I heard Vegas wants us to do something again, and so that's exciting because there's a lot of people asking about Vegas. So today I have a special guest, and when I started the podcast, I wanted to have people who are experts in their field and to literally, gain insight that I didn't already have. I wanted all of us to listen, learn, laugh, and have a whole bunch of fun. And we have an opportunity to do that today. So with me today, my special guest is Colleen Durkin Peterson, trial attorney, and her resume is outrageous. When you're talking top 10 verdicts, she had 2 last year. She has 1 so far this year. And when we say top 10, we're talking about in America. We're talking those big cases that make the news. She is the face. She is haunting some of these companies that need a smack on the hand. They need to learn that the little guy needs somebody to speak up for them. So this is Colleen, and we're gonna keep it loose. I am gonna go straight to my little deck of questions and ask questions and keep it loose. But first and foremost, how you doing?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
You're doing well?
Mm-hmm.
That's outstanding. So what made you want to come on the pod? That's first and foremost.
To do exactly what you said. Just lawyers have a bad rap in the community. Nobody likes them until they need them. But I think it's important for people to know that lawyers like myself, plaintiffs, trial attorneys, we are here to give voices to people who, for whatever reason, cannot use their own voices. And so it's an important job, and I just want to bring awareness to what plaintiffs' trial lawyers do.
Right. So I'll start off with a real world scenario and ask you kind of like what somebody should do to make your job easier. For instance, Keela fell. We go on a flight was American Airlines, and they have the jet bridge probably half a foot further away than I'm used to seeing. And then there's like a little metal bridge thing. It's not the kind that like kisses up against the plane, where you see the accordion thing. Like it had that, but that had reached its furthest. And then there was a little metal bridge thing. It was raining outside. So right when you get into the plane where the flight attendants are prepping things, the whole floor is wet. Like I remember the floor being wet because when we went through security separately because I have TSA and she refuses to get it. And so when she went through her security point, the sign said just go that way for A. Mine said there was a detour, go to the right. Now, if you know SeaTac, A is to the left, and you just walk down past like the little African restaurant. It's not actually African, it's just their decor. Then you hit that corner, and then all the A gates beyond A5 are down there. I had to get on a train to the right and go all the way to the end gates, then switch over, then go over to the A gates, then come up to just be where I could have just went if they didn't have the wrong signage. So I was later to get on the plane than Keela, who just went straight there. So when I got on the plane and sat in my seat, she was like, I fell. I'm like, what you mean you fell? Yeah, I fell. I'm like, oh, okay. And then they bring an ice pack to her, and I'm like, wait, you fell for real? Like ice pack? An ice pack amount of falling? Yeah. Okay, so then she's got that. Then we get off the plane, and then she's speaking to the people like, man, I fell. They know I fell. Is there a number or somebody I can call or something? So they give some. they give, no, they took her information and then they're like, "Are you okay?" And she was like, "I mean, I feel pain, but we'll have to see. Like, this is the kind of thing that grows on you. I'm not a spring chicken no more, you know." And that's not a quote. That's me saying that. But it's facts. Like, if you're older and you fall, like, all the repercussions aren't at that moment. You know what I'm saying? You're like, damn, I woke up fucked up the next week or whatever, right? So then I was like, I personally would have handled it, and Trenton was saying, like, man, I would have laid down the whole flight on the ground. I'm like, yeah, me too, shit. But I was like, can we get your information? Because you have hers. We walk out of here, we'll never see you again if you don't reach out. What is your information that we can follow up? And her answer was like aloof. Like the lady is like, dang, how to get a hold of us? Well, I think you need, like she had never even had the intention of hitting Keela with the information that she got. You could tell because she didn't even have how to reach out to her ready to go. Then she's like, well, you fell in Seattle. Did you fall on the jet bridge or did you fall on the plane? Is this an American issue or is this a SeaTac Port Authority issue, right? In my book, I'm like, all you're doing is telling me the list of everybody who's about to hear about this shit. But, you know, they start pointing blame. And so we go we do our gig in LA. Keela's like, you know, you check in on her every now and then. She's like, like she's toughing through it. And I just feel like maybe an opportunity to have massages or whatever you need to feel back and be rehabilitated to 100% was missed. Like, I know we didn't document it right. I know there was, you know what I mean? So that's our real life situation. I know she called you on the spot. What do you think?
So if you are injured in an accident like that where you fall, or if you're in a car accident, my best advice would be you do need to go and seek medical treatment, because just like you said, this can kind of occur over time. Anybody who's been in a car accident knows that your adrenaline is running and you just want to get out of that situation. You want to get home. It's a bad day, but you don't understand that over the next 48 hours, the shit is going to set in. Your back is going to hurt. Maybe you're going to have sciatic pain. You're going to have neck pain. And you need to go to an urgent care. You need to go and see your primary care provider and let them know that you've been injured. Because if you don't, when that stuff sets in, and if you are to bring a lawsuit later, that's the first thing that they're going to look at. You didn't go and get care. You didn't seek help. You waited for however long, and they'll blame you for that. So it's important to go and get medical care, tell the truth about what happened. That's my number one rule for all of my clients is we tell the truth. But go and document those things. And speaking to individuals, like on the plane, like you talked about, just ask them, what's your policy and procedure for when someone falls? And they should know that if they're a trained employee. If they do not know that, that opens up different conversations that lawyers have later on down the line, that you haven't trained your people properly for this type of situation, whether it be in a hospital, on an airplane, anywhere. So document. That's what I'd say.
Document. Now.
Oh, you want to see my notes?
No, like a document, like an official document, like a doctor's note or a visit record. But I understand that we had a very strenuous schedule, so it's like I don't have time to go to a doctor's office right now. We got to get over to Live Nation and do this shoot. She sat in the truck for half the day, so that could be attributed to pain. So if there was going to be a document somewhere, it would reflect that she wasn't able to do her normal amount of work. But what stuck out to me in what you just said was that you said within 48 hours. Is that particular?
Well, for any type of injury, yeah, unless it's something.
96 hours.
It can extend out, but like within 48 hours, you're probably going to feel it if you're actually injured. If it's more than just kind of a sprain, strain, bruise, yeah, you're going to feel it within 48 hours. So go and get to an urgent care, an emergency room. And I know it's inconvenient to do so, but if somebody actually is responsible for the injury that you have, it's going to be a whole lot more inconvenient if you don't have assistance covering those medical needs in the future.
Right. Okay. Shifting to the first card I have here. What have you learned about yourself this year?
Ooh. That Pollyanna had to die.
Okay. Let's get into that hyperbole. Who is Pollyanna?
Pollyanna, I would say, is me before 2024. So
Also, you had an epiphany.
Yes.
Okay, I had a Pollyanna is what you call it?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, I had to kill Polly Nate 2012.
Okay, you're ahead of me. But yeah. So I always wanted to be an attorney. My dad was an attorney. I grew up going to seminars with him and learning from some of the great trial lawyers in the Pacific Northwest. I also am the first Chinese daughter in my family. And so there is being raised, I was kind of one of those, you don't speak unless you're spoken to type thing. We just do the right thing. We don't talk that much, we're just perfect, basically. We don't want to upset anybody. And that didn't serve me anymore as a trial lawyer representing the mothers and teachers and children that I am in this case against this chemical corporation. And to be a trial lawyer, you have to be able to stand up and represent your clients in court, and you have to be able to do so confidently. And I had to kind of grow out of just be seen but not heard. Don't worry about making mistakes. Be Little Miss Perfect. And Pollyanna had to die, and she did. And it was kind of painful for me, but it was the right thing to do. And I think that my growth will accelerate from here on out because of that.
Unequivocally. I think I actually had a conversation with somebody recently where they were like, they saw a meme or something, and it was like, who you want to be is a new you. So old you has to die, right? So the Pollyanna has to die while we're just, playing and throwing that around is like actually, it's legit, because then you can attribute the habits that are counterproductive to old you, right? So Pollyanna is the one that wouldn't get up when she's tired. Pollyanna is the one that would, be like, let's just order in. Pollyanna would be the one, and so new you is a different, you should be able to look back at old you and be like, who was that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about reinventing ourselves last week, but our motivation, the catalyst, was heartbreak. And so apparently that's the trend right now. It's like, what gets you to the gym? What makes you, you know what I mean? But what was there's always an impetus. What was the thing where you're like, yeah, that is it. I have to change who I am to get the results I want, because who I am right now is not going to get what I want. What was the...
Yeah, so I'd say it was two things kind of over the last 12 months. One was me actually being in trial. And in trial, in these cases that I'm on, I cover the medicine and the damages sides of things. I really enjoy the medicine. And I know it probably better than anybody in the courtroom. And I should take out the probably. I know it better than anybody in the courtroom. But I also happen to be the youngest in the courtroom by a number of years, and maybe one of the only females, at least on my side. And it was actually one of my partners that just during trial pulled me out in the hallway and was like, we can't hear you. You need to be louder, which is not something that I grew up being encouraged to do. And basically, I was told, your lack of being loud, they can't hear you, it's coming off as insecurity, and they're not going to buy they're not going to believe that what you're saying is right, and what you're saying is right. So it was me having to just kind of step out of everything that I had learned growing up that got me to where I was, right? Being the little diligent student and always being perfect and just, never missing a beat, which I still can't do. But it was just kind of that. It was just, that doesn't serve you in this role anymore. And you need to stand up and you need to take up space and you need to be loud and confident so that the jury knows you are right and you know what you're talking about.
Yes. Okay. And so that was one of the two. What was the second thing?
The second was probably more related to my practice. And again, it has to deal with just always doing the right thing. We don't really complain. And there became a point in time where I realized that everyone else got to put on their business hat. And they just expected me to do the right thing. And I don't think that they are mutually exclusive. But when I put on a business hat, people became upset about it. And it changed some of the relationships that I had, but it was a change for the good. And Pollyanna gets to put on a business hat, or whoever the name is now. But that was the other thing. People were willing to kind of take. And finally, when I put on my business hat, like any of the men would do that I was working with, they were pretty taken aback by it. But it was the right thing to do.
Good for you. Really good for you. So here's what I would say this. I feel like when people have this shift, like a paradigm shift in self and self-awareness, that it doesn't necessarily bear fruit right away. Like, but it sounds like in your case, you're like, I'm putting my foot down, and then immediately change happened because, the river wasn't flowing around that rock like it was before. The rock said, I'm a rock. So, but I've heard, you made mention 2-3 times right now to perfection, right? You're like, we're perfect. You have to be perfect, be small footprint, perfect, in the pursuit of perfect. I'm writing, I'm taking notes, perfect. So is that your motor, perfection?
I think it was. And I still do things to the absolute best of my ability. But like, let's say in trial, I'm no longer necessarily scared of making a mistake in front of the jury because the mistakes are human. Mm-hmm. It's kind of, the corporate attorneys that are robots that just never make the mistakes. But if I need to think about something before I answer a question before a judge, I will now take a second and be like, oh, I haven't thought about that, Your Honor. And I'll sit there and I'll actually think it through. And I find that the court is more responsive to that than somebody who is just some slick tap dancer who always has an answer, no matter what. Same thing in front of the jury. You're so scared about making a mistake, at least as a female trial lawyer, I am. And they don't mind it. It's humanizing. It's an odd process for people who are in our jury system who dedicate themselves to do that, but they don't know what's going on. And so they're nervous, and a little humanity and, seeing people are real in the courtroom, I think it relaxes them.
Yeah. Because I feel like as a citizen, if you get a jury summons, you're showing up to be, like, you need some instruction. If you haven't done it before, you're like, all right, where am I going? You're just like a cog in a machine that, you deliver your decision and you're talking to, but, like, we're not in court every day. Like, the whole process of, so there's this concept called white jacket, I think it's called white jacket syndrome or white jacket. It's like white jacket syndrome or white jacket theory. The concept is people go in and have like their numbers or their, they go to the doctor's office for a checkup, and everything is heightened because of their fear or concern for the white jackets. Right, so they have labeled that as white jacket concern, right? So if you're a jury member, that whole process of emptying your pockets, going in, there's cops everywhere. You're like, shit, are my tabs legit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a whole thing where it's heightened. Like, I'd imagine juries don't even normalize, like, feeling like, okay, this is normal till week 2 of going every day.
Yeah, it's a totally odd process. You get called into court. You don't know what you're there for. You don't know how long you're going to be there. You're missing work. You have childcare responsibilities that you're juggling. And then you get in there. You get selected for a jury. And the first thing you're told is you're not allowed to talk about anything that you hear in this courtroom. If you see these attorneys or anybody else in the hallway, they're not allowed to talk to you. Mm-hmm. They're going to look down. They're going to avoid you at all cost. And it's just sit, stand, go to lunch, come back, listen, don't talk to anybody, sit, stand, go to break, come back, don't talk to anybody. And in the trials that I'm doing, they're 9 weeks long.
Oh, man.
And so it's a totally different scenario for people to be in.
Do that?
Not enough. But they do.
For 9 weeks, there's like a day rate, basically.
Yes, there's a daily rate. I think Pierce County just did a trial project where it was $100 a day for the jurors, and that was successful. But we can't do that all across the state. Hopefully, eventually we can.
Like
but
to
yeah,
get people in. Because how many is there? 10 people in a jury?
There's 12 in a civil
jury.
trial. Yeah, and then you have alternates. But yeah, people are giving up 10 weeks of their lives, basically, including deliberations, and they are there every day from 9 until 4:30.
9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, with a lunch?
Yes.
So 6 hours. So you're making maybe $14 an hour?
Maybe.
They're not even getting minimum wage.
No, and no parking in Seattle, downtown.
Yeah, no, that ain't it. I think they should have to match whatever wages people were making before they came in, and they just have to show with the pay stub. You know what I mean?
That would be nice. It
Or
would
don't
encourage
call us.
jury service. Yeah,
But-
it's tough.
Yeah,
That's why it is a service.
yes, but also you're supposed to be judged by a jury of your peers,
Right.
right? So let's get their peers, and that if that's socioeconomic status, which is a regular, that's an identifier of people, then when you have a high profile expensive case, it's about to be a high profile expensive case. You know what I mean? You can't just have regular people in here judging, casting judgment on not regular people. I don't know if that makes sense, but it seems to me like peers would represent all of the things that, you got to check all the boxes. So if you're in there I'm already pissed. I'm in here for less than minimum wage. He did it. Fuck up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Innocent. Let's get the fuck up out of here. We all got innocent and one person holding out. Man, what the fuck, bro? We're not getting. What are you doing? This is good money for me. Like, God damn it, I got to get out of here. So I think that's a blind spot in the entire judicial system.
It is.
Yeah, that's a whole, like, these people are casting their judgment and the judge is relaying that, and people are getting time or sentencing, and those people want to go home the whole time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Isn't there something to, like, certain parts of it on, like, you with on purpose you try to do it after they've eaten?
You mean in trial?
Yeah, where you're like,
Dude.
let's wait till they've had lunch.
Let's wait until lunch and turn the lights off and play a video that we don't really want them to pay attention
Right.
to.
They're all full,
Yeah.
and nobody's really looking at it.
Exactly. I mean, that was one of the, if there is a nice part about COVID, during COVID, there were Zoom trials. And what we saw during those Zoom trials was there was a lot more diversity in the jury pool, because there were people who, you want moms on your jury, but they can necessarily be excluded because they have childcare responsibilities and they need to take them to school. But a jury of our peers should include mothers in the community.
Oh, yeah, everybody was
right?
available during COVID.
Yeah, but also, like, still, you're excluding a whole bunch of people right now that cannot sit for jury service if they have to come down in person all the time. It doesn't work with picking up kids from after school. And what you end up with is people, especially on the longer trials, who can afford to not work for 10 weeks, which means you're looking at a lot of probably management level employees at like Boeing or Amazon, which is nice, but it's not the representation of the community. It's not a jury of your peers necessarily.
It's not fair.
Right.
Because fair is defined by being judged by a jury of your peers. It's not even fair. So
You want a mixture of people, but the way that with juror pay, you can't necessarily get that.
right. I would even go further to say that should be looked at in more than just our judicial system that way. Like, like every college and university has their own little, they have their own board or program board of people who make those decisions and stuff. And I feel like when it comes to conduct, student conduct and stuff, a lot of the students that are getting hand slaps or whatever disciplinary statute put on them, they don't even look like who they're pleading their case to.
Right.
Things like slang are not coming into consideration if you got a jury of cornballs. They're going to understand and be like, it's lit. You know what I mean? What do you mean? There was a fire in the building? Oh, my goodness. We got to slow down and tell you exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I saw a clip the other day on Facebook, I want to say, where Judge Judy was like holding this young lady to the fire to stop using slang. And she was just like, this is how I talk. I don't know what to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's like, and that's when I slid back around. You know what I'm saying? She's like, so slid back around. And Judge Judy's all mad. It's like, just because you don't understand what she's talking in her vernacular.
Right.
You know what I mean? You wouldn't have a Spanish judge with an English court case, right? Spanish only speaking. So where's the consideration for the other dialects that are sub dialects of English? Anyway, so I know in like colleges, because I had gotten in trouble in school and I lost my little case and we won in the appeal because then my family attorney was able to go through all of the transcribed stuff and find literally 111 issues with everything. And then I won my appeal and won everything. But at that time, I'm like, I said all of this. And it was just lost in translation, or you didn't understand it, or you didn't believe it, or maybe you thought it was my Pollyanna, where you didn't believe me, but here's all your, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that's the thing that should be looked at. I'm definitely not in a position to be like, here's what we need to do, but you are. You can ring a bell. You know what I'm saying? So those are the two lessons that you learned. Well, you said Pollyanna must die.
Pollyanna had to die.
Pollyanna had to die. Is there any other lessons you learned this year about yourself?
I mean, it's all wrapped up in Pollyanna had to die because it was so much. I'm 40, right? And so my entire life was that way.
Because we could put it in a gumbo, or we can pick out the ingredients, right? So let's say it's a gumbo, right? And in there you got the Holy Trinity, you got some crab, you got some andouille sausage. Let's just say the andouille is speaking up in the pursuit of perfection, and then that's that one aspect. And then let's say the crab in there is you putting on your business hat at work, and then what else is in there?
So.
What I'm saying, what are the characteristics of Pollyanna outside of those two examples that you're like, I got to do away with this?
It's probably just also, I never said no. It was just, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. And I'm good at certain things. And just because you may be good or the best at certain things doesn't mean that you have to take it all on and do all of it. So it was also learning to say no. And that's a little bit of just letting go of control of things. Other people can handle it.
And I want to ask this. This just popped into my mind. But you self-corrected and you said, when it comes to the medicine, I might be the smartest one in the room. Then you said, actually, when it comes to medicine, I am. Is might, the use of might, is that Pollyanna?
Yes.
So the confidence to say I'm best, or I am the one, or I'm the person, that's a new epiphany?
Yes.
So you would have carried yourself in a way where, knowing you're the best in the room, you would have acted like you would have allowed yourself to appear as if you weren't.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah, that's my 2012. That me had to die. And for me, I was in a place of like, man, I don't know if I'm great, and I'm helping everybody else where I can see their greatness, and I'm helping. I would do nothing for myself, right? And I'm very in tune with that in particular about it. Like, for instance, like Trenton does a lot. Like, he's a videographer. He's been to film school. He's also his own grown-ass man. He's a father, and he's his own comic. So I try to, like, you know, when it comes, he was like, I got sets, I got this, I got that. I try to support that, right? Because when I was Mr. Helper, nobody was turning around and being like, how can I support your needs? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like it has to be a give and a take and an ebb and a flow. Otherwise, the people helping you don't see the point in helping you.
Yeah.
Right? Other than being in spaces they may not have access to, and that just comes from bringing anybody along with you if you have access and they don't.
Right.
But how do you then share that opportunity? How do I, you know what I'm saying? So that 2012 me died, where I was like, you know what, no longer. I mean, I literally I wrote the Bible to some people's careers, and they are still on those paths, and they all have amnesia. There's no less than 5 people. And I'm talking, they're in different tax brackets. I'm talking, they have like major assets, and it's probably 10 people. And at the time, some were even living on my floor, or needing help with rent, or trying to figure out what is this whole LA thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I was like, let me help you. I'm Mr. Hold the Camera, Mr. Punch It Up, just giving. And then somebody fuck around and sell a show or get a deal, and then the list of people that they pay or that they give credit to wouldn't include me. And I'm like, nigga, I am literally the sauce. And it's not delusion, it's fact. But the reason why, what I've found post having changed, the reason why I'm not going to make that list is because then they know about me.
Right. So
does that make sense? Like, they're going to downplay you because they don't want other people to know you're the sauce. If they know you're the sauce, then your value is true, and you can get that there or elsewhere.
Right. They know your value. They just don't want you to know your value, and they're scared of you learning what that is.
No, that's one layer, right? Like that's just a dick move, right? There's good and bad people, and there's bad and good people. So what is more common is for them to know your worth, let you know your worth to them, and show you they appreciate you, but it's in ways where other people don't see the praise. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because they don't want the other, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like the coach going to the running back, like, man, you really worked your ass off today. You're the number one running back in the league. I swear to God you are. Go straight to press and be like, our quarterback really held it down today. What about the running back that had 3 touchdowns? Yeah, man, he's a workhorse. Come right out of there. Here's the game ball. You're the guy. Right?
Right.
And so by not moving that stock publicly, they keep a glass ceiling. So you said I'm the rock that I'm going to throw at that ceiling and break it myself. So I commend you for that. That's what's up. What's the last book you read or one you're reading now?
Not reading now, getting ready for trial. The last book that I read was The Way of the Trial Lawyer.
Really? Mm-hmm. So you're fully immersed?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have court in your dreams?
Sometimes.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
What is like a reprimand that just on shows I see like objection? What do judges say? Sustained or like
Sustained, overruled.
Overruled.
Overruled means you're wrong. Sustained means you're right. They don't get to do that.
Do you hear that in other times in your life?
I mean, I overrule my children.
All the time?
Yeah. And maybe my husband sometimes, but yeah. Outside of that, no.
Got it. But it doesn't play a role where you're daydreaming and then you're like, overruled, and then you just like you get back to focusing?
No.
Got it.
Not like that.
I dream sometimes I'm on stage in my dreams. You know what I'm saying? Killing. We just did, and this is a leak basically, but way later than it should have been done. We just did promo for my tour, right? It's already happening. We're already on tour. Dates are already, and we're in Europe. We didn't have time to do this thing. So this concept that the first tour promo was me being chased by my future me, and then having to meet future me, which kind of brings it full circle. And future me is like, get ready to step into your greatness. Mm-hmm. Like Pollyanna, it's time to step up. So that was the first one. So then for this one, we had several ideas, but I think Trenton, that was your idea, right? Yeah. So Trenton's idea was, let's go from Back to the Future where Marty gets out of the car with Doc, and as soon as he gets out the car, a crazier Doc shows up, right? But the concept, I'm all three. So there's present Nate, future Nate, and then there is further future Nate. And we had an authentic, legit, with almanacs, buttons, flux capacitors, and everything DeLorean that just Andy Levitt, I think he's number 2 at Live Nation, was like, I love this promo. I actually know somebody. Let me see if I can get a car, like for the free. So that's why we're in LA on Saturday. So I'm saying all that to say, we went Back to the Future for the promo. It's gonna be fire. We shot it on Reds. Trenton directed it. I would say it is his directorial debut with me on screen. I'm sure he's directed many projects, but with me on the camera, with me turning over the reins. And that was a big deal too, because forever, for the life of me, I'm self-directed. And it's not because I don't trust other people. It's just because we don't have the other people. You know what I mean? When you're shooting skits and sketches and everybody's like, it's like, hey, what do you see for your sketch? Like, you got to direct your own thing. So I'll use that as a segue to the next card, which says, Back to the Future. Make some predictions. What do you think 2026 holds?
More winning.
More winning.
More winning.
Okay. Why? Like, what are your predictors?
So 2026, I'm going to be doing 2 more of these trials against this chemical company. One of them starts in like...
The same one? Mm-hmm. God damn. You on their ass, boy.
We are. They hurt a lot of people. They hurt a lot of people.
They did hurt a lot of people, and whatever happens, they deserve to have happen. But God damn, they couldn't get it all in one go? It got to be 5?
They didn't want to. They had the opportunity to do it all at once, and they said, no, let's apparently do this over a series of 12 to 15 trials. And
They're like, don't whoop our ass one big time. Whoop it in pieces.
apparently, I think that they were surprised. I know that they were surprised by the first results. If there is a modern day Aaron Brockovich type story, this is it. And it happened north of Seattle. And I think that when the original firm brought this case, they thought that there was no chance in hell and that they were Goliath and here's a bunch of Davids and they're going to just roll right over them. And that's not how the story goes. They should have known. But that is not how the story goes. So, they have an opportunity to do what's right and to compensate all of these people for what they did. And they just are choosing to continue to roll the dice. And it's.
I think when they made the decision to break it into a bunch of cases and then lost the first one, that was like, wait a minute. We broke it up to strengthen ourselves. We've lost one. We about to get our ass whooped 11 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we gotta protect you at all costs. I'll say this. I asked you what book you've read recently, and then what you just said triggered a thought in my mind, because what I read recently, David and Goliath by Malcolm Gladwell. And have you read that? Great book, right? So I like Malcolm Gladwell. I don't know why he stopped writing my life. Then he wrote Outliers, which really like shook my little moral fiber. But the story of David and Goliath, which most people know, is like, okay, this little guy takes on this giant guy, right? And Goliath is literally a behemoth. He's a Goliath. And David is this tiny little, barely imposing person. And instead of two entire sets of warriors going at it, they just picked one warrior each. So Goliath presents first, and then David presents. And what Malcolm Gladwell basically establishes throughout the book is that, we all know David had a sling. Well, through modern science or even just common knowledge, that's basically a pistol for their time. So they brought out this big-ass dude to throw hands, and David's like, I got a bag full of bullets, nigga. What's happening? Right? And so it just gives perspective to a story that you thought was one way that they tell you the whole time. And then when we really look into it, we see that actually that was written a whole nother way. So it's very interesting that you would choose Goliath and then make yourself David.
Well, any of the plaintiff's trial attorneys, but isn't that interesting? Because you do hear the story the other way the whole time. Like, how did this little guy just take on this giant? And if you think about the flip side perspective, it's just that. You gave him a gun and he had the biggest target in the world to hit.
Right.
That's not how, it's the perspective.
Yeah, that's dope. But I also got to say what book I read. Okay, this is an interesting one. I must have accidentally grabbed this along with one of the other ones because I didn't intend to grab it. But this one says morning inspirational pep talk. So you have to look down the barrel of that camera and give yourself a pep talk when you wake up in Pollyanna mode. What are you saying to you?
Oh. Well, lately it's just been, we get out of bed and we sit on the side and take a deep breath and let's fuck them up.
Let's fuck them up?
Let's fuck them up.
That's the inspirational speech?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's fuck them up is crazy. So, I mean, it's not crazy because there's a ton of people that's the same thing. Like, all right, we're going to fuck them up today. You know what I'm saying? But not you. Like, you don't have the demeanor of let's fuck them up.
I do on the inside. But it's not on the outside because we're perfect and we're professional and we don't make mistakes and we always say the right thing. No, we don't. Now it's just, we know what our job is. We know what we need to do. Take a deep breath. Let's fuck them up.
There you have it. Let's fuck them up. I think that comes from, where do you think that comes from? Like, you're showing a brazen amount of confidence to say that. Because let's fuck them up is different than I hope I can fuck them up. Or I need to get better so that I can fuck them up. Like, let's fuck them up means you're already in a certain state of fuck upableness to say all I gotta do is tell myself.
Yeah. So, again, just in this series of trials that I've been in, because I was younger, because of all of the past things that we've talked about, I just never felt like I was going to belong there or be good enough. And so what I decided was, well, you're not going to be the best. You didn't go to Harvard. You went to Gonzaga. Go Zags. But all of these attorneys that I'm against are Harvard, Yale trained. They're big top 10 law firms in the country. And none of that is my pedigree. But what I did know is I can read every single medical record. I can read every single deposition. I know how to outline, and I know how to do the basics. And what I learned through these trials is that these people that are just kind of parachuting in from these big firms with this big education, they're not doing the basics. They're being handed outlines that have touched 10 different hands throughout this whole process. But I'm in every single deposition. I'm taking all of them. I'm taking the defense experts' depositions. I'm going through the medical records. And so the people that are coming in at the last minute to try these cases, who are national trial attorneys, and they're very skilled, they don't have the basics. There's no way that they can catch up at this point on trial number 11, I think is what we're starting. And so that's how I know. I know the facts. I know what's there, and I know they're relying upon people that I've seen over the last 12 months doing this part of a job, this part of a job, this part of a job.
Right.
I do the whole job. So when they come in and say, Your Honor, this is what happened, I can say, it's not. I was there. This is what's happened. And I've been able over the last couple trials to build that credibility with our bench that they know that I don't lie. I tell the truth and I know the record. So let's fuck them up.
Okay. Let's fuck them up. Wonderful. So let me shift to a question I just want to ask in general. How do you handle work-life balance? That's what somebody literally said, Nate, how are you juggling everything? How are you keeping it up? I said, I'm not.
Right.
I'm absolutely not.
Yeah, it's a big joke.
I'm hitting the nail that's sticking out the furthest. I need help. So I got good help, and it's been a massive run in the last 2-3 years, and we're like literally I feel like the world is ours for the taking. Right? And I get that I'm the flag bearer or the face of it, but I also know shrapnel can make somebody very, very rich. Just the roll off of what's going on with me could land somebody in, TV series or a consistent writer job or just another hat that for sure pays and funds their own dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that. And I'm not saying it I'm not spitballing. Like, we went to the Kevin Hart concert in Seattle, and Naeem Lynn and Spank blessed us with some tickets, and I brought who I thought had the potential to be a team at the time to show them the cohesiveness of Kevin's squad, like his boys closest to him, right? Like, everybody's doing a thing. Yes, they're all comics. Yes, they're all successful, but they do a thing in that empire that funds all of the other stuff. I'm talking cars, houses, side businesses, TV show producers, showrunners, the face of different projects, and all of the nucleus is back to like, that's the first thing that popped, that's the first thing that hit, right? Like that's the wave. And then this is just off a side ripple, somebody can really ride one and your grandkids ain't got to work no more. Right. And so that's my examples that I knew and I saw and I read his book and that I wanted to show them. For you, you've made reference to being around your dad. What other examples of Chinese excellence? Is that what I think black excellence when I say it. So maybe it's not a race thing, of excellence, of perfection. Because you're in pursuit of it, right? It's The Alchemist.
So,
you familiar with that?
Well, work-life balance or...
It's both, because I know I'm not balanced. You need a team. But and now it's complex, right? So for those of you watching this and don't know what I mean when I say The Alchemist is it's a great book. And spoiler alert, I'm about to tell you what it is. So if you don't want to hear that, then you either need to hold ×2 at the top of the screen or tap forward a little bit. But basically, there's a young man that's in pursuit of becoming the alchemist. And he goes on a journey to meet the alchemist, and what he finds on the journey at the end of it is because he went through the same trials and tribulations in pursuit of finding and meeting and trying to get to know the alchemist, he became an alchemist. The journey of trying to pursue what was their perfection led to their own version of perfect. Right? That's that. So now you got this multi-layered question. Where are you going? All right, bet. But now you got a multi-layered question. How are you juggling work-life balance? And if not, how are you combating the fact that you're not?
Right.
And then that's 1 and 2. And now 3 is what is the example? What is the alchemist?
Objection compound is what we would say in court for your multi-layered question here. Okay, first of all, work-life balance, I would say I'm not doing very well at it, but I kind of adopted this mindset probably 2 years ago now. There is no balance when you are at this level, or you're at any level where you're just giving your all and doing your best. You cannot give 110% to 5 different things. And that's how I was raised. We give 110%, 150% to everything that we do, whether it be school, sports, whatever. That's not realistic. I cannot give 110% to my clients and 110% to my husband and kids. So, and you're going to die trying. And I got shingles last summer trying to do all of this.
Stress-related shingles.
Yes.
Trying to keep up with everything.
Like 4 days after Mexico.
Really?
Yes, actually in the airport in Mexico.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What is shingles?
Shingles is basically lightning bolts all over your skin.
Oh, okay, like nervous system. Wow.
Yeah. And so I've kind of adopted more of a seasons approach. This is a trial season, and it hasn't always been like that. I've been an attorney for 12 years, and in the last 3 years, this has really kind of taken off. And so this is a season, and seasons change, but right now, this is a trial season, and my family understands that, and I have a good community around me. My husband's fantastic, and then I have others who just help. Who help with those things. But at the same time, you can't run yourself so ragged that you end up getting shingles, because then you're not helpful to anybody. So trying to work back in a little bit of balance. But for a while, when you're grinding and when you're trying to get to the top or be successful for your clients, is in my situation, like there is no balance, right? You have to go all out. You're fighting a Goliath. Where was the balance there for David, right? There is none. And you just have to be willing to make that sacrifice. To the extent that I had a friend actually come over to my house once, and she's a good friend of mine, and you want to do everything as a working mom, right? You want to be a great trial lawyer, you want to be a good wife, you want to be a good mom, you want to still have like a nice house. And it took a good friend of mine to come over and tell me, wow, I can't believe that you're still trying to do all of this. You're doing everything and you're not doing any of it well. And that hit, right? Little Pollyanna, who wanted to be Little Miss Perfect and do all things. And she just said, you're trying to do everything and you're not doing any of it well.
So you disagree with that quote about the jack of all trades?
Master of none.
Yeah, but if you keep listening to the rest of it, it's that they're actually good at a bunch of things.
Yeah, but you're a master of none. So would you rather be good at a whole bunch of things, which is fine, or do you want to be a master of something? That's it, right? A jack of all trades is a master of none.
Okay, but what do you say to the concept of it taking 10,000 hours to master a thing?
It probably does.
Yes, but then 10,000 hours is not your whole life, right? Like there's people who have retired from multiple careers. There's people who were at the peak when they were, say, in the military, and then they got out of there, and then they were at their peak when they did some sort of consulting, or then they're at their peak, like each thing, and then maybe they stepped into fatherhood or motherhood, and then they peaked at that, right? Like, so what do you say to the person who is juggling these things? But I don't want to get ahead. I already compounded some good stuff. So I'll go back and I'll skip basically the second and just ask, what is the alchemist? Like if perfect is what you're going for, right? And what you've accepted is perfect imperfection, you still know what perfect is. Mm-hmm. To you though, right? Like
Right.
something you're like, that's perfect. Somebody else is like, that? Bro, that ain't perfect. But to you, you're like, not only is it good enough for me, I'm striving towards it. So what was the thing? You made mention of being with your dad and seeing him knock out some Goliaths. Is that enough? Or was there other examples? Are you like, oh my God, Ruth?
Oh, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah.
People
You're
like
oh
that.
my God, Ruth.
No, I would
Shirley Chisholm. Like, what is it?
I would say it's been mentors that I've had along the way. And so first it was my dad, and then it was a female attorney named Kari Lester, who I saw when I was in law school arguing before the Washington State Supreme Court. And it was different. It was a different perspective on lawyering and what that looked like than my dad and my uncle, who were attorneys, and I grew up in their firm, right? And so I've been very fortunate throughout my career to have tremendous mentors. Kari served her purpose. Jim Holman is what I call Father MedMal, and that's why I know medicine, because he is an attorney. He never went to medical school, but he sat there and he taught me. We go through every single page of medical records. I understand the flow sheets. I understand
Really?
how it all works, basically. And I spent 8 years working with him. And so it's just along the way, I've learned from people who are willing to give me their time and kind of push me out there to do things. And that's what I finally had to realize when I got to this level and doing these trials was...
Is that everybody? Your dad,
my
Kari
dad,
Lester,
Kari
Father
Lester,
Medmel,
Jim Holman,
Jim Holman.
and then probably some of the attorneys I've worked with recently as well. Like there's when you talk about mastering something, it takes 10,000 hours to master something. I think any of the people that I work with, even though they are masters of their trade, they will tell you that they are not, because they are all open to the opportunity to grow. And I think that that's important, like not thinking that you know
for sure, but
all of it.
In my opinion, true mastery of something does leave room to still grow. It's not like, oh, okay, I now know this and there's nothing else I need to learn about. No, it's like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's the person that learns an entire martial art to then not use it. You know what I mean? Like, be malleable. Otherwise, it's not.
Right.
You're not a master. You're a pompous asshole. You know what I mean? And crafts are. It is not possible to learn everything about any particular craft, right? You can know a shit ton, but as soon as something changes, or as soon as there's a new study, or as soon as the thing, you got to get back out there. Otherwise, somebody else has an edge on you because they know about it and you don't.
Right.
So that thoroughly, to me, answers the question of who you like. Let's say it's the alchemist journey, right? Like in the book, each chapter was a different person they met along the way, and so if you had your alchemist journey book, that's who it is. It's Kari Lester, it's Jim Holman, it's Father Medmel, it's the attorneys you're working with now, it's your dad along the way, and you're like, you go from I'm just little Colleen trying to figure it out and I want to be, to like you realize like I've arrived and I am.
Right.
Fuck them up.
Fuck them up.
Yeah. So that's the cutest little way to be a savage that I could go with. Now you
That
do
is,
have
can I tell you, that's what I think that's what a juror was calling me in my second
Savage?
trial. He called me a razor blade wrapped in a cinnamon roll.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's this sweet little thing. that
Razor
will
blade
whoop your
wrapped in a
ass.
cinnamon roll. Mm-hmm.
How deep in it though, right? Like it sucked was in the middle. That's the part everybody's eating towards. The middle is the best. Does anybody sell cinnamon roll middles? Is that a thing?
Cinnabon used to, didn't they?
Just the middles? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm curious about it. Because we were at a restaurant the other day and they had chicken skins.
Oh, yeah, you went.
And a ton of people are like, yeah, the skin's the best part of the chicken. Well, somebody just thought, well, let's just share the skins. And it came out as an appetizer. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'll be damn. Just the best parts of things?
Did you like that place?
Oh, yeah. And
Looks
not only that,
amazing.
it's like literally owned by two guys I went to college with. Like, I was so proud of them. Yeah, Denzel was at Eastern Washington University. So was the other guy. But I actually knew Denzel. I knew him as an undergrad. When I was coming back to campus, and it was like he was growing into running the yard, and you know what I mean, being the head iota and the man on campus, and I was like, that's dope, because I was that as a Q. So it was just interesting watching somebody else step into that role years later, and so him having a restaurant, I went over there and bought one of everything on the menu, and then tipped $500.
Wow, you went to school with Denzel Washington. That's dope.
Yeah, no, different Denzel. But yeah, Pelican Bay. Trent's not on camera, so that's whose voice that was. So I don't know what made him out of nowhere come out with that shit. You switched it just to say that?
It was me. I actually do have a question for Colleen.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of trial movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as a kid, I loved My Cousin Vinny. You know, I feel like it's an OG. I recently watched Juror Number 2. Not sure if you saw that one. Oh my God, it's phenomenal.
Juror Number 2.
It's on HBO Max. But I was just curious to see if you maybe had like a favorite trial movie of yours or something that you saw growing up that just kind of stuck to you.
Aaron Brockovich and
Growing up, the first one, the classic, To Kill a Mockingbird. Atticus Finch.
Why?
Oddly, because it reminded me of my dad, like just somebody who is standing up for someone who cannot stand up for themselves and is doing the right thing. And for Atticus Finch, a white man, to be able to do that, I see my dad growing up representing a lot of minorities who just don't have the understanding or the education to be able to represent themselves. And that's something that was really important to me. And I have played that role a number of times as well for clients of mine. And I just think it's an important thing that we do. I view plaintiffs' personal injury attorneys as servant leaders. And not a lot of people do, but I do. And I think it's an important thing that we do for our communities.
Very cool. Is that's the one that they make you watch in high school, right? Like they make you read the book. That's
Yes.
how I read the
that's
book.
not
Watched
what
the
we
movie.
did. We watched the Nemo.
Nemo.
Yeah, it's like a submarine.
Finding Nemo?
Not Finding Nemo. You know what I'm talking about. If you had to watch it, it was like
The Dream when he.
No, it was like the Journey of the Nemo or something.
I feel
Instead
like
of To Kill a Mockingbird?
No, yeah. Instead of we weren't doing law movies. Also, I was in the room with bad kids, so they just watched whatever. Like, what do you mean? That's where I was holding court. I wasn't in the normal class with the normal kids. They got me out of there quick. Like, oh no, we can't even teach. We had a whole classroom of like all the most, which is a trip because everybody from that class has exceeded in like a couple died, but in general, they've exceeded in life to where like they are all, and these were the most outspoken, boisterous, high energetic kids that would take over another class. They just stuck us all in the portables with this genius teacher named Mr. Fuller from California, and he had rigmarole. He had the ability that if like there's a time in a class where like the teacher's like they've gone out of my hand. You know what I mean? Like we're all like we're not doing we're all playing. It's all going down. He's like outside, whole class, not recess, not outside, and would literally be like 5 laps, guys, girls, everybody like When we come back from that, everybody listening like a mother. Like he had, but no other teacher had the ability to just be like outside. You know what I mean? Like
Kids
he
need
was a
that, though.
special. He was a special teacher, but literally like. There's like 3 people in the NFL from there. 2 people went to the NBA from there. One, like literally, like just from our like wild kid class or whatever. No, I mean,
Leaders. They put all the leaders in the class.
They didn't know it. We were just rambunctious and doing whatever. But you know, you have to channel that injury, energy, not injury. I'll say this: 1, thank you for coming.
Thank you for
You're
having
more than
me.
welcome to come back. I would love to have you back when we can speak with more specificity about things, if there's ever a time that we can. Because what you're doing is amazing, and we aren't allowed to talk about it with the specificity that it deserves. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if there's a chance to do that, to commend you, to tout you, to explain to the viewers in the world like why and what she's doing, that's awesome. And when she wakes up and says fuck them up, you know who she been fucking up. And if you heard just if the name was said, you'd be like, woo! That's how big she is. We're sitting with a monster right now. Okay? Nessie. I'm talking the Loch Ness Monster, okay? In a sense, you only see the head and maybe a little bit of the spine in the water, but you don't know how much is really under that water and who you're fucking with. That's what's going on here. She's a monster. A wonderful mom, a great person, a voice of reason, a great source of advice. It could sound fucked up, but I don't mean it fucked up. I mean it in the best of ways when I say a cheerleader, right? Like the person that's like, we need to celebrate this. Like, we got to go to dinner. We got to celebrate this win, right? And I am one of those people that put my head down, grind, and like we're just plowing through records, and at no point are we slowing down to let's just, you know what I mean? And so whatever you call that, I don't want it to have a negative connotation when I say cheerleader, but just an overall awesome person who, from the outside looking in, is actually juggling everything fine. Okay? So that's the show. Do you want to tell them to follow you on socials or anything like that?
No, but I will come back after the verdict.
Cool.
June.
So, promise. Pinky promise.
Promise.
All right, bet. So we're going to lock that in. And then I said at the beginning of the episode, what'd I say? I kicked it off and I said, thank you for the prayers for Alyssa and all that. And I don't want to end on a note so high or so low that, you know, it throws the contents of the rest of the episode. But our prayers for Alyssa to get better and have a miracle have been answered, but in a different way. So she's no longer going to be experiencing pain, and she's going to go on to heaven. She will still be with us. Her spirit, her essence will still be with us, but the shell that holds her spirit is no longer going to be with us. And so keep the Minnow family in your prayers. If you're a praying person, if you're a prayer warrior, keep the Minnow family in your prayers. Please continue to pray for my dad. I appreciate it. But and I was talking to her sister this morning, and she told me the situation, and she's like, I'm used to being able to call her and she can come in 4 minutes. And I said, she's not. She's going to be there much faster now. She's by your side now. She's with you now. And that's why I hope people who deal with loss and people who deal with the burden of losing someone and feeling a way about it not being you, that you understand that they're still with you. You understand that person and everything they've done and all the spirits and people that they touched in their life was for a reason. And so bless the Minnow family, keep them prayed up, and that's what it is. Check on your strong friends. Peace.